Well, my boss invited me, so I'll be going on another resort trip this weekend. It's just for business, but still, spending my days off with my boss. Seriously, it's such a drag.
What? Again? Isn't that a bit too much? You've been going away all the time these last few months, haven't you? Don't you think it's about time you took a break? I mean, even if it's a resort trip.
I guess so, but it's not like I dislike going to a resort. I don't mind it, and since it's for work, there's no point in complaining about it, right?
True, but still, it feels like we hardly have any time together as a couple. And remember, we had plans to visit my parents this weekend. You said you'd come with me.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's not like I'm choosing this over you. I have work commitments too, you know? You can go to your parents' house by yourself. Even if I go, it would just be for show. The kids will be happy just to see my face for a bit.
I get that it might seem trivial to you, but don't you think the kids would want to spend some time with their dad? And honestly, going back home with the kids alone is no walk in the park for me. You've never had to take care of them on your own, so you wouldn't understand.
Come on, saying you have a hard time with the kids when you can have such adorable children all to yourself is really a spoiled complaint, don't you think?
If you think it's just about how cute the kids are, then that proves you're not really involved in raising them. It's not just about them being cute. There are plenty of challenges that come with it, too.
If the kids heard you say that, they'd be so upset. Seriously, you sound like a pretty terrible mother.
If you think you can handle it better, then why don't you try doing it yourself? Stop enjoying your trips with your boss and take the kids on a trip by yourself at least once. Or even just stay home and take care of them alone for a bit. Trust me, you'll regret saying that.
Excuse me? What are you talking about? You have no idea how difficult it is to travel with my boss. That's why you can say such things. I'm not going on trips with my friends. It's all really stressful.
I used to go on those kinds of trips before we had kids too, you know. But ever since the kids were born, it's always been me taking care of them because you can't handle it alone, right? Realistically speaking, traveling with my boss just isn't something I can do without your support. So tell me, if I said, hey, I'm going on another 2-night resort trip with my boss, so can you take care of the kids? Would you really do that? Because I'm juggling work, house chores, and parenting over here. It's not easy for me.
You're so annoying. It's because you always act like you're so put upon that I don't want to help. If you just keep your mouth shut, I might actually want to help out. It's the way you say things that makes me want to back off.
First of all, what do you mean by helping? Parenting is something we should do together, especially since both of us work. Do you think it's normal for me to be the one solely responsible for the kids just because I'm a woman? You're not just here to help. You should be taking an active role. The very idea that I have to ask for help is what's wrong here.
Oh, you're so damn annoying. If you have complaints, go home to your parents and tell them. Anyways, I have to work with my boss this weekend. I'm not coming home, so don't bother contacting me.
This conversation is going nowhere. Hey, answer your phone. This is an emergency. I just rushed to leave you a voicemail. Why haven't you responded at all? Right now, all of our family members are rushing to the hospital, and we need you here too. You have to come as soon as you see this message. It's really serious. We're all very worried, and it's important that you get here as quickly as possible. The situation is critical, and we don't know what's going to happen. It's really dangerous, and the last thing we need is for anyone to delay in getting here. The kids are with me, so just come straight to the hospital without stopping at home. We'll be waiting for you here, and I know it's a lot to ask, but it's important that we're all together right now. please understand how urgent this is. I wouldn't be calling you like this if it weren't a serious situation. I really need your support right now, and the kids need their dad, too. They're scared, and we all want to be there for each other during this tough time. It's moments like this that remind us of how important family is, and we can't do this without you. So please, as soon as you get this message, drop everything and head over to the hospital. We're all really counting on you to be here with us. I can't stress enough how crucial it is that you come. I'll keep you updated on what's happening as soon as I can, but right now just focus on getting here. We need to stick together as a family in times like this. Please hurry.
I'm so tired. Traveling with my boss is exhausting. And what's with this mountain of messages? I got your voicemail and it sounded so dramatic. You were like, "Your mother is in critical condition. Come to the hospital immediately." It felt like something straight out of a drama series. By the way, where have you been? Today was supposed to be the day you were coming home, and yet there's no food prepared at home?
Oh, you finally returned. Well, I'm at my parents' place letting the kids rest. Honestly, I'm surprised you managed to come back from your trip considering the situation.
And about your mom being in critical condition? I really don't care. You were just on vacation, weren't you? Are you still lounging around at your parents' house? Lucky you. So what's going on with the old lady? Not that it has anything to do with me.
We just finished my mother-in-law's funeral. We're currently gathered here to talk things over.
Wait, what? Your mother-in-law? Hold on a second. Are you saying that your mother-in-law is actually my mother?
Yes, that's right. Didn't your dad call you? He mentioned he left you a message, too.
Huh? My dad did send me a message saying to come home right away and go to the hospital, but...
So you were blocking your communications from your relatives? That explains why I hadn't heard anything. I guess you were too busy worrying about how to manage your trip with your boss, huh?
Well, of course. I'd find it annoying if I were getting all these bothersome messages from my family while I'm with my boss. Wait a second, are you seriously telling me that it's my mother?
I've been telling you that. We've been extremely busy with the funeral arrangements. I tried to contact you so you could see her one last time, but instead, you decided to ignore all the messages and just enjoy your vacation, only to come back now. Honestly, even your family is at a loss for words about it.
I know, but I didn't think something like this would happen.
But your mom had been suffering from heart issues for a long time, right? It was bound to get worse. When I got the call saying she had taken a turn for the worse and was in critical condition, you should have come right away. If you had, you could have seen her one last time.
I can't believe this happened! Mom!
I'll be heading back home with the kids once everything settles down here, so you're an adult, just take care of yourself for now. You had no idea how hard it's been trying to juggle everything. While you were off enjoying your trip, I was dealing with the kids and the situation here. I can't believe you didn't think to check your messages and respond sooner.
I didn't think it would turn out like this! I thought we had more time!
You really should have been more aware. It's not just about your vacation. You have responsibilities and family to think about. The least you could do is check in, especially when things are serious. You may be relaxed right now, but the reality is that life doesn't stop for anyone.
I get that, okay? I really do, but sometimes I just need a break from all of this.
I understand needing a break, but there's a time and a place for everything. When family is involved, especially with such grave matters, you can't just ignore it. I wish you'd been here to support me and the kids when it mattered.
You're right. I should have been more considerate. I just didn't think it would escalate this quickly.
Now it's too late. I hope you realize how important family is and how vital it is to be present during tough times. You can't just turn your back on your responsibilities.
I promise I'll do better next time. I just hope it won't be under these circumstances again.
It's not about making promises now. It's about learning from this experience. Family means being there for each other, no matter the situation. So please try to remember that. Thanks for waiting, Mary. I'm all set over here. Kaylin, thank you so much. You got here much faster than I expected. This really helps me out. Right? I mean, this is a big deal for you, so of course I'm going to move quickly to help. But I really can't believe that guy. He's unbelievable. I appreciate it. I truly do. At first I was completely overwhelmed and didn't know what to think. But now everything is starting to connect, you know? It feels like I can finally make sense of it all. Yeah, I get that. I was hesitant about whether or not to tell you at first, too, but I really want you to find happiness. You've been doing so much on your own with the kids. It's a relief that it finally turned out this way. Kaylin, I can't thank you enough for everything. Oh, it's nothing, really, but seriously, the world feels small sometimes, doesn't it? So, are you prepared for what's coming next? Are you really going to follow through and put an end to this? Absolutely! I know that this is the best outcome for me. I see. Well, that's great. Then let's stick to the plan and go for it. I'm honestly looking forward to this. I can hardly contain my excitement. It's like all the pieces are finally falling into place and I'm ready to take action. I've been waiting for the right moment to make my move, and now that I have your support, I feel much more confident. Knowing that I have someone like you in my corner makes all the difference. You know how much I've struggled with this situation, and just thinking about finally putting it behind me fills me with hope. I can't wait to reclaim my life and start fresh without all this baggage holding me back. This is going to be a turning point for me, and I'm ready to embrace whatever comes next. Let's do this together and make it happen. I've got your back just like you've got mine through this entire process. So let's get everything organized and take the first step. I'm ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead with newfound determination.
By the way, I've got another golf trip with my boss next weekend. I was sleeping when you came back yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to talk to you.
Wait, what? Again? How can you even think about going on another trip after everything that's happened? Your mother is in such a serious condition because you were away on vacation. Don't you think it's time to take a break from all this traveling?
I do think about it, but what can I do? It's a work obligation, and I have no choice but to go. Plus, especially in times like this, I want to forget everything for a while and just have some fun. And you shouldn't be complaining about things at a time like this.
You did tell your boss about your mother's situation, right? He's still inviting you despite everything? That says a lot about him, too.
Huh? What do you know about my boss? It's fine if you want to criticize me, but don't speak ill of my boss.
What are you talking about? You've told him you had kids, right? If he knows you have a wife and children, he's still inviting you out. That's just disrespectful.
Shut up! We've got our own circumstances here. I'm in a good position with my boss, so there's nothing I can do about it.
That makes it even worse. Can't you just tell him that your wife is upset? Were you in such a position that you couldn't say that?
Oh, talking to you is pointless. Seriously, you're such a difficult person to deal with. It's like you've completely changed since you got married and had kids.
I think you're the one who changed me. Don't you realize it? You act like nothing has changed in your life despite having kids, living your life like you're still single. How long do you think you can go on like this, expecting to be taken care of like a child? Don't you understand that you're a parent now?
Oh, right. So everything is my fault, huh? Just go ahead and be friendly with the kids. I'll be off having fun with my boss while you're at it.
Fine, I get it.
What are you thinking? Why are you in a place like this?
That's what I was going to ask you. What are you doing sneaking into a married woman's house while her husband is away on a business trip? And having a cozy overnight getaway, just the two of you. Looks like you're not even in the same company, and you're not going out golfing either. What happened to that supposed golf trip with your boss?
Are you kidding me? You weren't following me, were you?
Well, technically speaking, it wasn't me. I just had a professional investigator check things out for me. And it turns out you were having yet another overnight getaway at your girlfriend's house today. So I thought this is ridiculous and decided to crash the party.
The audacity! You're the one who should be saying that! Your girlfriend must have been so shocked that she started crying, right?
At a time like this, you're still worried about her? Oh, this is hilarious. You came out half naked, for crying out loud. Sure, I had my friend ring the doorbell so you wouldn't know I was here, but still. How could you be so foolish? It's disgusting. There's no way out of this, is there?
By the way, why are my relatives here with you?
I brought them along. Just showing evidence wasn't going to cut it. They said it must have been a misunderstanding. So I asked them to come to the scene with me. That way they could see the undeniable proof with their own eyes, right?
You've got to be kidding me! How did it come to this?
That's what I was about to say. Could you bring your girlfriend out here already? If you don't want to talk outside, then just let us in the house. We can all have a nice chat together, can't we?
Are you insane? There's no way I could accept such a chaotic situation.
But you're the one who created this chaos. You left the kids with me, and here you are cozying up with your girlfriend. As a father, as a man, and as a human being, you're the lowest of the low.
Well, that's because ever since you became a mother, you've been all about the kids. You've lost any charm or femininity you might have had, so it's no wonder.
You think that's a valid excuse for your actions? I have every right to want to protect the child I brought into this world with my life, and I believe that wholeheartedly. If we could have co-parented together, maybe I could have felt like a woman again. But you've done nothing but come home and leave all the cooking, cleaning, and child rearing to me, while you play with the kids only when they're in a good mood. You sit there fiddling with your phone instead of helping with their studies. I simply don't have the time to deal with a pathetic man like you. If you wanted attention, you should have made time for me.
There's no need to pile it on like that. How did you even figure this out?
You underestimate a woman's intuition, don't you? The moment you started going out more, I felt something was off. You stopped wanting to be intimate, and then there were those little moments where you'd compare me to other women. You really had no idea you were doing that, did you?
Huh? Was I doing that?
Yes, you were. And then, just at that time, I started getting tips about you. They said you were at a resort with another woman. You'd go to popular resorts, so of course my friends would see you. This world is much smaller than you think, you know.
Wait, I was being seen like that?
Yep, and that's when I became convinced. But since I thought that alone would not be enough proof, I got my friends and a private investigator involved to prepare for a solid case against you.
A case? What do you mean? We're married, right?
We are married, huh? You're the one who betrayed me, so who are you to talk? I've been putting up with your betrayal all this time. When I told you that it was unreasonable for someone to invite you knowing that you had a wife and kids, I was angry for my beloved girlfriend, wasn't I? Just go ahead and do whatever you want because I am getting a divorce.
What? But the kids are involved too! Don't you think it's cruel for them if we divorce?
It's better for them to grow up in a warm, loving home rather than living with a father who's a traitor and watching his dysfunctional relationship with their mother.
Why would you say something like that?
Because you act so selfishly. I will definitely be filing for alimony, and as soon as the other husband gets back, I'll be talking to him. You're getting divorced from me, and you can deal with your life afterward as you please. I'll be sure to claim a hefty alimony from you, and of course you'll be paying child support too.
Stop it! This is all because you stopped being a woman! You just wanted to spend time with another woman, didn't you? You have some responsibility in this too.
Do you think I'm just going to let that slide? I'm managing everything while also taking care of 2 kids. Why do I have to continue to deal with someone who can't even take care of the children or help with the household chores?
Dealing?
I am working without any time off. If you wanted my attention, you should have saved some energy for it. You come home fiddling with your phone, eat the food I made without a second thought, take long relaxing baths in the bathroom I scrubbed clean, and sit there looking satisfied at the faces of the children I struggled to put to bed, pretending to be a father. You're a worthless man.
You don't need to say it like that.
I'm doing everything. And you expect me to be your night partner too? If you want me to keep looking beautiful by putting on makeup and taking care of my hair and skin, then you better start making time for me to do that. I am barely managing to keep myself alive and care for the children. And you think you can just go off and satisfy your own desires with other women? You don't deserve to call yourself a father.
I'm sorry, I messed up. Just don't make this a bigger deal than it is. Please don't tell her husband. I'll do my best from now on.
I don't have the space in my heart to accept the dirty person you've become. You are a criminal who broke the law, so make sure you pay for your actions. It is pathetic how you keep worrying about yourself. Oh, and just so you know, my punishments won't end here. I'll make sure to report this to your workplace as well. You were supposed to be on a trip with your boss, so we need to confirm that, don't we?
Wait! Please stop! Anything but that! I'm working hard for my promotion! If you ruin that for me, my future!
Have you realized the extent of what you've done before you started talking? You have no idea how much you've hurt me. You're sacrificing the children for your own desires. Finally, my husband lowered his head, ready to admit his faults, something that took far too long. Initially, I thought he would allow me and my relatives to enter his home so that we could have a serious discussion about the situation at hand. However, to my shock and a certain degree of satisfaction, he was outright punched by her father as soon as he arrived. Witnessing that confrontation was a bizarre mix of emotions, but I must admit it left me feeling quite satisfied. It was a cathartic moment, especially considering all the pain and betrayal I'd been experiencing. The woman in question came to me and apologized deeply, going so far as to kneel before me in a gesture of contrition. I could see the remorse in her eyes as she bowed her head, trying to express her regret for what had transpired. However, I could not simply accept her apology at face value, for I had a child whose future was now entangled in this mess. My heart ached as I thought about how our lives had been turned upside down due to the actions of these adults, who seemed to act without considering the consequences. Understanding the gravity of our predicament, I made it crystal clear to her husband just how frivolous she had been in her actions with my husband. I felt it was essential for him to know the full extent of what had happened, the betrayals and the disloyalty that had transpired between them. It wasn't merely a matter of emotions, it was a violation of trust that had ramifications affecting not only the adults involved, but also the innocent children caught in the crossfire. As we engaged in this painful discussion, I realized that she seemed to be a full-time housewife. dedicating her life to maintaining her home and caring for her family. However, her world had turned upside down when her husband filed for divorce, a decision that had consequences not only for her, but also for everyone else involved. I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions watching her situation unfold. It was ironic that we both found ourselves in such unfortunate circumstances, albeit in different ways. After her husband left her, my husband faced his own set of consequences. I had reported the affair to my company, which led to my husband being reassigned to a remote location. This drastic change in his work situation felt like a punishment that fit the crime. But it was also a bitter reminder that we were both paying for the choices made in moments of weakness and poor judgment. It was as if fate had dealt us both a harsh hand, forcing us to start down a path of disappointment and regret. In our conversation, I made sure to emphasize that this situation wasn't merely a fleeting moment of weakness. It had lasting repercussions that would follow us for years to come. I needed her to understand that while she sought forgiveness, the consequences of her actions extended far beyond a simple apology. My husband and I were now living in the fallout of their indiscretions, and it was our child who would ultimately bear the brunt of this turmoil. The stakes were high, and I couldn't allow myself to become lost in anger and revenge. As I spoke, I could see the emotions flickering across her face. Guilt, sorrow, and perhaps a hint of realization that her actions had not only harmed me, but had also disrupted her own life and family. The weight of her decisions was heavy, and I sensed that she was beginning to grasp the far-reaching effects of what she had done. It was a complex web of emotions that we were both navigating, filled with resentment and a yearning for understanding. I recounted the moments that had led to this confrontation, recalling how my husband had initially been evasive about his feelings, how he had made excuses, and how I, in turn, had been forced to confront the reality of our fractured relationship. The betrayal stung deeply, but this encounter felt like a necessary step towards resolution, or at least towards closure. We were both feeling the fallout from the choices made by those we trusted, and it was a painful yet pivotal moment. As she listened to my words, I could see her processing the information, reflecting on her own role in this saga. She began to share her perspective, explaining her frustrations and the feelings of neglect within her marriage. I listened patiently, allowing her to express herself, knowing that understanding her viewpoint was crucial in moving forward. While I sympathized with her feelings of loneliness and isolation, I couldn't let that cloud my judgment regarding the choices she had made that had led us to this point. Her story mirrored my own in some ways, and it was a stark reminder that unhappiness in a relationship can lead people to make choices they might not otherwise consider. We were both victims of our circumstances, yet I felt an overwhelming need to assert that her choices were hers alone. I wouldn't let her actions undermine the seriousness of what had transpired. The damage had been done, and acknowledging that was the first step in seeking a resolution. As the conversation continued, we both began to reflect on the changes our lives had taken. She spoke of her dreams and aspirations that had been sidelined due to the pressures of family life and the neglect she felt from her husband. In turn, I shared my struggles with maintaining stability for my child amidst the chaos. We found common ground in our shared experiences of loss, even if the roots of our problems were different. It was an unexpected connection forged through our pain. The meeting felt transformative in many ways, as we moved from being adversaries to allies in understanding our struggles. I felt a strange sense of solidarity with her, realizing that we were both navigating a rocky path filled with uncertainty and disappointment. Our conversations morphed from accusations into discussions about how we could both move forward, despite the hurt that lingered in the air. After we shared our stories, we noticed a shift in her demeanor. The tears in her eyes were replaced with a semblance of understanding and acceptance. She grasped the weight of her actions, and I could tell that she was beginning to process the implications of her choices. This encounter was not merely about seeking revenge or an apology. It had become a moment of shared understanding, an acknowledgement of the complexity of our lives. In the end, we parted ways with a newfound sense of respect for each other. It wasn't a resolution to all our problems, but it was a step toward acknowledging the reality we faced. I felt lighter somehow, as if shedding some of the burdens that had weighed me down for so long. While our paths were fraught with difficulties, we both understood that moving forward would require honesty, introspection, and the willingness to confront consequences of our own actions. As I walked away from that encounter, I felt a surge of determination. I knew I had to focus on rebuilding my life and securing a better future for my child. The challenges ahead would be significant, but I was ready to face them head-on, equipped with the knowledge that I was not alone in this journey. There was a shared understanding between us now, a recognition of our struggles, and perhaps, just perhaps, a glimmer of hope for what lay ahead. Reflecting on everything that had transpired, I realized that forgiveness was not an easy path, but it was essential for my own healing. I understood that I had to move forward, and I would have to let go of the anger and resentment that had consumed me for so long. It was a difficult realization, but it was necessary for my peace of mind. Our children were innocent in all of this, yet they were the ones who would suffer from the mistakes. Thinking about the future, I began to formulate a plan for myself and my child. I wanted to ensure that they grew up in a loving and stable environment, free from the chaos and uncertainty that had characterized our lives repeatedly. It was crucial for me to provide them with the support and guidance they needed to navigate their own lives, and that meant prioritizing their well-being above all else. The road ahead would be challenging, but I was determined to face it with courage and resilience. I knew I couldn't change the past, but I could shape the future for myself and my child. Through hard work and determination, I would strive to create a better life for us both. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I was ready to pursue it with all my heart.